Well, welcome to our crazy life.
With Clay and Wanda. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Clay.
And I'm Wanda.
And we are coming to you tired.
Sure are.
It's a Wednesday and I'm so exhausted.
I was literally up all night last night. I could not go to sleep. I don't know what the heck was going on. But I'm thinking it was probably because of the rock star that I drank before bed.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh. But yeah. So
that could do it.
Yeah. But I didn't have any sugar or nothing in it. But I think it's all the caffeine and everything else that makes it an energy drink. Shouldn't probably be drinking it at 10 o'clock at night.
No, not unless you're out boozing.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'd want to drink that kind of stuff if I was drinking beer or liquor. That's kind of crazy. I don't know. Just, I feel like, well, I guess they have that. I forget what the shot's called. Oh, Jaeger Bomb. That has Red Bull in it.
Yeah.
I personally don't like, Red Bull or Jaeger, but that's me. Other people drink it.
Well, I'm addicted to a new podcast, which I pretty much listen to it like all at once. And I don't know if you've heard of it. It's I'm trying to find it. It's Mommy Doomsday.
I've never heard of it.
It's really good. Did you ever hear about how there was like this search for these two children last year and they couldn't find a mother and she went to Hawaii and the grandparents?
Yes.
Yeah, it's about that. And it really breaks it down over multiple episodes and I'm like, wow, I did not realize all that was going on.
That was the kids that were like 8 and 11 or 8 and 13 or something.
Yeah.
They ended up dead and she killed them?
Yeah, because apparently she believed that she was that the end of the world was coming and she belonged to one of those like Christian groups that were preparing for the end of the world. But like the head guy, like she fell in love with, and he was convinced that they were married in a past life, and so they end up killing each other's spouses. And yeah, it's crazy.
That's right. Her husband did end up dead too. And they tried to play it off like the husband killed the kids and then killed himself or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'll have to check that out.
But it was crazy because one episode, like one of the relatives, she was like, it was like, because she killed the her brother-in-law, and the sister was like, it was just one day I was on my Gmail, and it was already logged into his Gmail because nobody could get into it. Because like, oh no, it was the one husband because he left his inheritance to his sister, not the wife.
Oh.
And like it was millions of dollars. And she didn't know that he changed the policy.
So and she thought she was gonna get all this money.
Yeah, and then like the sister was like, yeah, it didn't ask for a password or anything, let me write in. And I realized because they couldn't find her, and she was using his email through Amazon. And that's how they found her. And apparently they had bought the rings before they killed their spouses.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but it was good.
At the time it'll be on there.
But it has that one reporter that has like that really mysterious voice, and like his voice just keeps you at the edge of your seat.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, because they said this weekend is going to be, they're having a special about it to where like on Dateline because the podcast got so popular. Because I kept hearing about it when I'm driving to work and they're all talking about Mommy Doomsday and I was like, fine, I'll listen to it. And then it was about that and I was like, oh, it was good.
So I ended up breaking down and buying a new computer.
Oh, how did that go?
Yeah, it was a pain. Like, I try to stay within a budget. And yeah, it doesn't work out very well when you're looking for certain things. And then I find out that my computer doesn't have a CD drive.
Oh
And
yeah, the newer computers don't do that
I'm
anymore.
like, what in the world? How am I supposed to, I don't know, do anything that I need a CD for? And I'm like, ugh, just gonna have to download it or transfer it from a different one over to that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it was a pain. And then I took all my stuff off of my other one and uploaded it to Google Drive. I'm like, oh, that's just easier just to do that than to put it on discs that, well, now I can't put into my new one. And I was like, ugh, it's a pain. It seems to work a lot better though. Had to do some research before I, made the ultimate decision.
Yeah, because I was gonna buy like a Surface Pro, and then we were at Best Buy, and they're like, "Well, the iPad is a lot better if you're just using it for school." And so I got like the iPad Pro to where it'll do a split screen,
Yeah.
and I got like the case for it that has the keyboard that's built for the iPad Pro. So it's pretty nice. I mean, I've always wanted to use it as a computer, but I don't know.
I see my kids like with their Chromebooks and stuff for school, and it's just like I definitely don't want that because it's not for like what I need it for.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, if it was just checking my email or surfing the web or something, that's one thing. It's like it's Chromebook's good for certain people, not for me. But you see all these like you're going down online through all these things, and it says Chromebook, Chromebook, Chromebook. I'm like, don't want a Chromebook. Stop showing me Chromebooks. And even if you filter it and it still brings up Chromebooks, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then everything that suits me, I'm like, sold out of stock. So I'm like, dude, like, what the heck, people? I just want to upgrade and just find me one. And then I actually finally find one at Staples and I order it and I go pick it up and I give them my last name and they bring me over like 3 bags of stuff and nothing was a computer. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, this is not my stuff. And they're like, looking at me like weird. Like, I'm picking up a computer. And they're like, oh, you're going to have to go over to the tech for that. And I was like, no, I didn't drop it off to get fixed. I ordered it to be shipped here. And they're like, oh, they handle all of that. I was like, they handle all the tech stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm in Staples. Isn't like 99% of the stuff here tech? Like, what are you people good for? Like, for real? Like, what the heck? I had to go to my doctor's yesterday to pick up a letter to get me out of jury duty.
Oh my God.
No, I'll tell you what,
Oh
20
my.
years, and like, I got picked 2 years ago, first time in my life, okay, and I got my doctor's excuse, and I submitted it, and they tell me that it's been accepted, and you have 2 years on this doctor's excuse. Well, sure enough, 2 years later, here they're getting me again, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm not. I am not doing this, and I'm like, mm-mm. So I'm filling out this paper that they send you, and some of the stuff on there, it's just like I don't agree with to begin with, and I can't find. I took a picture for this sole purpose, but yeah, but they're asking me like questions like, are you would you side with a police officer because of their law enforcement job and stuff? And I was like, hell no. I'm like, yeah, they lie. Not every police officer is truthful.
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, mm-mm. So yeah, I'm like, they're not gonna want me on their jury to start with. But I'm like, yeah, and then I had to put on there that I homeschool my kids and no one else can do it but me. It's like, yeah, I can get a sitter, but why would I want to do that? But yeah, I'm like, I don't. I don't have the patience or tolerance for stupidity, and I'm not going to court for something more than I need to. Yeah, the one question on here, I found it. Would you be more likely to believe the testimony of a police officer or any other law enforcement officer because of his or her job. I'm like, nope. Some of the stuff on here, though, it's just like, yeah, after they see that, they're not going to even need my doctor's excuse because I am not going to qualify for being part of a jury. No, I'll help you with whatever you need help with in a little bit here.
Who was that?
My son. He is having problems. He's been doing like so good in school and stuff, but now he's like going through like teenage boy drama and oh my god, slacking on his schoolwork, and I'm trying to help him get caught up. I'm like, oh yeah.
I have never had jury duty.
Maybe you're about to. Hey, maybe it's because you're in the. Well, you know what? One of the questions on there is about the military.
Yeah.
So you don't have. I think you technically don't have to do it because you're part of the military.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever want to do it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Well, the thing is, I don't know if you remember this case, but the girl that got murdered down in Canoe Creek,
Mm-hmm.
the guy that, got convicted of killing her is up for retrial.
Is that the same guy that murdered one of our friends' sister?
I don't know. I don't believe so.
Oh.
But, yeah, this guy's been in jail whenever that happened. But, yeah, so he's back up for trial, like a retrial again, and I have a feeling it's for that. And I don't even want to be part of it because they don't. I have my own beliefs of things, and I'm going to sit there in a deliberation and, be the only one saying something off the wall other than what everyone else is, and they don't want me on there. They don't want me. That's what I'm saying. They don't want me on their jury and make it difficult just for the heck of it. Do you hear about the gender neutral Mr. Potato Head?
Oh my god, I saw like the joke about it on Saturday Night Live, and I didn't know what was going on with that.
Yeah, so apparently it's not going to be Mr. Potato Head anymore. It's just going to be Potato Head. But I don't understand. Like, there's a Mr. Potato Head and there's a Mrs. Potato Head. So what is the big deal? Like, let them have Mr. and Mrs. and then just make Potato Head. Like, I don't know why everyone has to be so difficult. I understand the whole, like, thing, but most people are either one gender or the other, and they specify with one gender or the other. There's not many people that are going around being like, I'm not a boy or a girl. I'm like, come on. I don't want Mr. or Mrs. Potato Head. I just want Potato Head. I'm like, oh my god. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, that sounds so stupid because I know, like, there's a lot of other products out there that they're trying to, like, shut down. Saturday Night Live had a really good skit months ago about it to where they were going to fire Aunt Jemima. And she was like, but I'm Aunt Jemima.
Well, they took her off the bottle, along with a lot of other items. Like Mrs. Buttersworth is no longer like Mrs. Buttersworth. Aunt Jemima's picture is gone. Uncle Ben is no longer on rice. It's just like this whole like race thing is like getting out of control. It's like this is what made those products. Whoever's like making it about race is the problem, not these products.
Yeah, I think it's just a touchy subject with it. Because lately I've been thinking a lot about it, and I'm like, wow, things are like really out of control anymore.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's different out here because, like, East Coast, it's all about, what color you are. Out here in the West, it's more like there's certain pockets of Arizona to where, like, if you're not Hispanic, they're like, what are you doing here?
Oh my gosh.
Because when we moved down here from Colorado, we did a rest stop and no one spoke English in this rest stop. And I'm like, are we still in America?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and I guess that's normal down here. Even when you get down to the border, it's that way too. So it's different, like with the race thing. But I mean, honestly, I think people are just trying to hold on to what they can because in a few decades, white people are no longer going to be a majority. We're going to be a minority.
Yeah.
Unless you're in England or Scotland or Ireland.
It's just like the whole racist thing is just crazy. Like everyone's equal. Everyone,
Yeah.
whenever they say like minorities, like, oh, you only got that job because you're a minority, and like,
Oh, yeah, I keep hearing about, oh, the diversity hires. And I was like, oh my goodness.
right?
Yeah, because there was something on the news today about, oh yeah, they're trying, it's ridiculous. They have to do a national voters' right law because all the Republicans are in control of the states and they're trying to change stuff to make it harder to vote. Like one state is trying to adopt a law to where it's illegal to hand out water to voters. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and someone on the news was like, "Yeah, you would have thought that back in the 50s this would have been squashed, but here we are."
Right? It just seems like over the past several years, like it's just resurfaced, and it's just like it's become more of an issue than it was, 10 years prior to that. And it's just,
Yeah.
I thought we were getting past all this and becoming more, quote, equal, as people say. But when was, when were we unequal, Because minorities get hired before, people that aren't of the minority, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. It's like the same thing as like going to college for something, but then you're going to go get an interview for whatever you went to school for. But then somebody else is interviewing for something, the same position as you, but they have, 15 years experience, but no college degree. Personally, I would rather hire that person that has 15 years experience
Yeah.
than somebody straight out of college that they have a degree, but, no job experience.
Oh yeah, because that's how it is in the government civilian sector. If you have a lot of experience that you're bringing, they convert it to college points.
Yeah.
So all my logistic experience, I'm at the level of a master's degree from what they appraised me at. And I'm like, oh, okay. And a lot of people don't understand that. And then a lot of people are like, well, you don't have any degrees. Why do you have this job? Because I've been doing it for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
But when I was a contractor, they were like I just took a class recently for maintenance, and there was apprentice people in there, and it's been forever since I've been around apprentices, and they are the ones straight out of college that are hired into the civilian sector of the government, and they really know nothing. And I worked with a lot of them when I was a contractor, and they were so analytical in their thinking, but when it came to common sense, I'd be like, you got to work with me here.
Oh gosh.
But then they're on like a huge probation as apprentices and stuff because, a lot of people usually don't work out right out of college.
Normally, like, you have to get that experience, and a lot of people don't want to take the time to, train you properly. And then if you don't know what you're doing to pick up, like, catch on, you're
Yeah.
pretty much screwed.
And then they always have the attitude like, I know more than you. I don't care if you're book smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, I need you to have more common sense than knowledge.
Right.
Oh,
So
but
my
oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's supposed to heat up here in Arizona next week.
Goodness. So what are you getting up to? Like 105?
No, into the 90s, they say.
It was so nice the last few days, but then we woke up this morning and it was raining outside, and it's just like, ugh. So it was kind of chilly. So I'm like, I have a sweater on. We go to the store, and I'm like, want to drip sweat in the store walking through because I'm like roasting because, outside it's chilly. So I'm like dressed for outside. My rabbit, he's kind of mad at me. He likes to like walk through his pee and everything. So the bottom of his like paws are kind of gross. So I got the stuff to like clean them. So I was doing that earlier. So I was like grabbing his paw and like wiping it down, and he's not talking to me now. I go over to him, and normally like before that incident, he'd be like jumping all over the place and trying to get out and let me pet him and everything. But now he's just like putting his back to me and sticking his nose up, and he's just like not having it.
Well, our black cat is the same way. She absolutely loves Chad. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Always Chad's her world. But like I'm on the bed and I'll be like, "Hi, Cleo," and she'll jump like I was coming at her with a knife. But in the morning, she's all meowing and everything because I'm the hand that feeds her.
Yeah. She gotta be nice to them.
Yeah. Just because in the beginning, I would always be hugging her and giving her kisses, and she didn't like it.
Yeah, so this rabbit eats green pepper.
Oh.
So we were at Sam's Club earlier, and I grabbed him some green peppers. I eat them too, so I just gave him one. Put a whole one in there, and he starts eating it, and didn't eat it as good as he normally does. I think it's because I gave it to him. I think I made an enemy trying to clean his paws. Oh well, gotta keep it clean.
Yeah, because we got a thunder shirt for Joey because he barks so much and he's so jumpy. And like he really calmed down, but he just had to look like he did something wrong and was being punished.
Oh gosh.
So we had to take it off.
Oh, that's not good. I'm bleeding.
Oh.
A scab on my arm, and this is like the third time in the past week that I picked it, and I literally feel like I'm gonna bleed out. It's that bad of blood. Oh my goodness. I don't have anything that'll wipe it off, like within my arm's reach. Okay, I'll just let it dry. If I fall out and you don't hear me, it's because I bled to death. Oh my goodness.
It'll take longer than that.
I know. It seems like a lot of blood. Maybe I should just let it go. It heals up, but it's just like enough to like still be annoying, so I pick at it.
Yeah, I think I'm dealing with a new COVID vaccine symptom.
Oh goodness.
I've been so tired all week, and apparently a lot of people, because I looked it up, because you can easily look up what other people's had, and yeah, it's like a lot of people are like, yeah, like they got severe tiredness to where it like knocked them out for days. And I was telling the nurse and doctor that I work for about my stuff, and they're like, yeah, the second dose is like they're giving you a taste of COVID so your body can build up to it. Oh. And I was like, that explains everything that's going on.
I guess it's better than having actual COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I had my fever, they were like, that's your body building everything up. And I was like, oh, this tiredness, I guess, is my body still building up. But I did switch. I'll have to tell you a funny story because we switched gyms. And yes. I was there yesterday morning. I didn't go this morning because I was so exhausted. But I went yesterday morning and I was like, okay, I'm starting my morning out right. I got my cardio in and I go to the steam room and no one's in there. And I'm like, oh, they said, I was like, okay, my son said just to pour some water on the knobs and it would do steam and nothing was happening. So I kept pouring water, nothing happened. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just me. And then, it was warm enough in there to where I was sweating. And when I came out, there was a button on me right beside the door for you to change it from low to high. And I touched it and it turned everything to high, and so much water. I had put too much in there and it steamed all at once. And it looked like on Alien when the alien got to the window and they hit the button.
Oh my god.
It was crazy, and I was like, "Oh, now I know." But then I'm
Yeah.
like, "Why would you leave it on low when the gym opens? Because it's not a 24-hour gym." I'm like, "Why would you leave it on low?"
Well, maybe some people can't handle the high.
Yeah, that's what my son's friend was telling me. Like people get really pissed off if you get the steam going. Cause like I was in there and I knew what someone was talking about because this one kid got it so steamy to where you couldn't see anybody in there. And I was like, and it wasn't bad at all. I was like, oh, but some people don't like that.
Yeah.
And then they have
I
these massage chairs
mhm.
to where it's a water massage. So
What
it's
is
almost, yeah, it's almost like a beanbag thing. You get on top of it just like a normal, chair where you're laying down, and you select the pressure and intensity, and a water stream just goes in a line up and down your body.
Oh, you know what? I think well, it used to be Health South, but they changed their name to something else. But out by my doctor's office, I was actually on, they had a bed that was like that. And it was
Yeah.
kind of like a water bed, but you felt like the jets and stuff going up and down your back.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I had it at the highest intensity, and it was pretty good. Of course, one of my kids only had it at like number one, and I was like, oh, I couldn't do more than that. What?
Oh, wow. I'd be like, number 10. I don't know what it goes up to, but number 10 for me.
Yeah, but they control it because you have to go up to the front and they have to turn it on for you. Or I'd be
God,
back there all day.
I'd be like all
Yeah.
over it. I'm like, I want to just stay in here all day and just like sit here and turn it on to number 10 and just let me alone. I'd come out with all bruises all over my body or something.
Yeah, because like in the morning, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they're gonna open the door or open up the doors late. They didn't because they open at 5 in the morning, and like there's already people outside the door.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like, I think I found my gym.
So does anybody go with you?
Yeah, Randy was going. Randy goes with me, and then his one friend has a membership there too. So we went on Monday. We didn't go yesterday because we were having dinner with one of our friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna go today, but like my body is so exhausted, I don't know what's going on.
So I'm guessing Chad's a no-go whenever it comes to that.
No, I wanted to get him to the gym, but I don't know.
And the massage thingies don't.
I might drag him there tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. He's like, nope, hell no. See ya. You go right on along. Did you ever hear of anything called dermaplaning?
I think so.
Oh my god, I'm like obsessed. Normally it's for like your face. But I have so much like dry skin. I do it on my legs and my arms. You should see like the dry skin that comes off. It's like insane.
Oh,
But now all the hair is missing off my arm too. Not that it's a bad thing, but you
does
should try.
that also clear up like hair and stuff?
Yes.
Oh,
Like,
because my favorite comedian was giving a demo
oh my
on
god.
this, and she had her daughter doing it, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah, like you know how like on your face, like I guess it's more like noticeable for girls, but like on your face how you have like the real like fine like baby
Yeah.
hairs. Like if you take that, it'll like remove it, but it also is good for like dry skin and stuff like that too. And I've been doing it, and I'm like literally obsessed. I have like these little things that I got the disposable ones. I have so many of them. But I sit there and I'll do it on my leg, and I'll have all this dry skin come off of my leg. I'm like, man, wish it would work on the bottom of my foot. I feel like I got my mom's feet. I'm like, I'm getting old. I'm like, oh my god, my feet were never like this, and now they're like peeling and cracking, and I'm like, ugh. I put those like milk masks on them, and it helps, but I'm not gonna keep doing it. I mean, they're so damn expensive.
Well, we tried out these foot mask things to where you put it on and you tie it off, and then you're just like for an hour or 3 hours, you just let it do its thing. But
Hour,
like,
3 hours. That's a
yeah,
big jump there.
yeah, and they like my skin was peeling like for days, and I was like, I don't know if this is a good thing.
Sure, it is. You have layers and layers and layers of skin. I would
Yeah,
love for it to do that, but mine, it just softens my skin and it just like stops with the cracking. But by the next day, it's like ready for another one. And
yeah, it's been a day.
yeah, hopefully I can sleep tonight because if I can't, I'm gonna have problems. I
Well,
might have to take
I
something like
told
that.
Chad, I was like, "There's a show we need to watch because it looks so good in previews and stuff, and it's Superman and Lois, and it is a good show."
What's that on?
On the CW
Okay.
or Hulu if you have Hulu.
Yeah, we have a couple things. We got rid of the cable about
Yeah,
2 years ago, I want to say. And it was probably the best thing ever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying over $300 a month for something that we don't even watch.
yeah.
It just kept going up and up and up, and I'm like, yeah, no, we're just gonna switch down to the internet and stream.
Well, I got a digital antenna for our TV,
Mm.
and this baby is so powerful. I get stations from Mexico.
Well, you're also like in a big city. I,
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
other hand, am not. I mean,
Well, I mean, the stuff here, like the local stuff, comes in crystal clear.
yeah. Like I think we get like 5 channels that are local, if that, on our antenna. But we normally just use the apps, and it's just like, my son complains because he watches basketball and he can't watch his Golden State Warriors because they play, on East Coast or West Coast channels. So I'm like, dude, you can't watch that. We don't get that station. I'm like, even if we had cable, we would not be getting that station.
Well, if you had Hulu Live,
Oh my gosh.
that's what we have. Because I was like, oh, I need a local station just in case. You never know. And so I got the Hulu Live, and it comes with a DVR. Like you can record shows and all that, and we have ESPN and all that stuff.
Well, I think that's what he ends up watching a lot of it on is ESPN.
Yeah.
But we have access to like the cable channels through like our email and stuff through the
Oh yeah.
cable internet. So that works for us. However, we're still not going to get the Bay Area
Yeah.
whatever station. And I'm like, he doesn't understand that. And I'm like trying to explain to him every time he asks about it. I was like, we don't live in San Francisco. We don't live anywhere near San Francisco. Last night he got to watch it because they were playing Philadelphia. And he didn't want to watch it though because they were losing. But I'm like, I don't know. I asked him, I was like, so why are we watching this game? Why is it on now? Is it because they're playing Philadelphia? He's like, yup. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't watch basketball, so I really don't know what the heck's going on. I was sitting there like, oh, look, they have Carrot Top on their team. And he's like, that's so and so. And I was like, okay. I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, these people can't play, man. I'm like, no one's making baskets, and they're fighting over balls, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you're not going to find sports being played in my house.
Well, I'll occasionally watch football, and I'll tell him that I watched it, and he'll be like, well, did you see this and that? And I was like, no. Like, I watched 5 minutes of the game. I didn't see that. Well, did you see this? And it was at the end of the game. I was like, I don't know. And then if I do remember something, I'll say something about it. And he's like, well, did you see this and this? And I was like, dude, I watched 5 minutes of the game. That's what I remember. And then if I watch the entire game, he thinks that I can remember everything in the 4 hours of the game. I'm like, yeah, because I pay that much of attention to it. I'm like, I pay attention to see who scores and wins. I'm like, oh my goodness. I try. I have boys. I kind of need to keep up with sports, but basketball
Yeah,
is not
we
that
got
much.
nothing but boys, but they're not. I mean, they used to be in the sports, but not anymore. No, Randy was on the football team, on the baseball team, the wrestling team. Yeah, but
No,
then he just didn't want to do it anymore.
my boys, they don't want to be on a team. They just want to wrestle each other, and it's just like, dude, like you can't do that.
Yeah.
I will leave the room and literally like I'll be gone for like 30 seconds and I'll hear someone hitting someone and I'm like, what the hell? What are you doing? And you'll hear someone screaming and I was like, oh my god. I'm like, I left the room for 30 seconds. Like, what the hell? I'm like,
Yeah, that's
oh.
what Randy was doing to like Zach. They'd be roughhousing a lot, and when Cloud's leg got broke,
Oh gosh.
oh, that was a not a good time for this family because like when I took Cloud to the leg doctor, they thought that I did it.
Ah, yes.
And I was like, what? And they thought that I broke his leg and I was a bad parent. And I'm like, no. I
They
was
think
like,
it.
yeah. And I told him, I was like, well, I'm a foster parent, so go ahead and call DCS. They already know it happened.
Oh, speaking of that. Okay, so I take Austin to the doctors and he has bruises. And he plays basketball, so he's like all like contact sports, like basketball, football, and whatever. Well, then he was up at his dad's house for like 2 weeks, so they're contacting Cambria County, and I don't live in Cambria County, but Cambria County is contacting me, but not his dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, why'd you take his information if you're not going to contact him, but you're going to harass me? I'm like, I told the lady, I was like, you can come to my house, but I'll meet you outside. I know my rights.
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead and call the cops too. I don't need to let them in my house either. So I told her she was supposed to come last Tuesday and she didn't. Instead, I get a letter over the weekend that she was going to come this Tuesday. I was like, I won't be home. Like, you're going to have to come another time. She's like, well, when's good for you? And I was like, any other time that week. But my life doesn't revolve around you deciding to come to my house. So, you can just go ahead and try to see if we're home. And she's like, if you're not going to be cooperative, I'm just going to take you to court. I was like, you go right ahead. See ya. And I hung up
Wow.
on her. I was like, how are you going to call one county that I don't even live in?
Yeah, because if you go to the judge's going to be like, what?
Exactly. I was like, I don't deal well with you people because my son's father like tried to do everything in his power to
Yeah.
make false claims and everything. And I'm like, you people should know by now I'm a great mother. I don't do anything to my kids. I'm like, what the heck? But you take them to the doctors and they see this and it's just like, dude, like, go away. But the thing is, like, they didn't call here. They called Cambria County. I don't live in Cambria County.
That sounds weird.
I know. And then I asked his dad, and he's like, well, they haven't contacted me. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. So that's my dilemma, like, right now. I'm, like, waiting for my subpoena to come to court.
Oh my God.
Instead of jury duty, I'll be going because, DCF is suing me, taking me there because I'm being uncooperative. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have to be cooperative. I know my rights.
I mean, you could easily say, the first attempt that she said she was coming, she never showed up.
Exactly. And that's my defense. I told her when to come to my house. She didn't come. After she said, okay. Oh my God.
Uh,
She's lucky I didn't get, like, really rude and start cussing at her because I don't do well with stupidity on the phone. I don't do well with those people. And she's like, I'm just trying to do my job. And I was like, I understand that. But I know my rights too. So just go right on ahead and try to do your job, lady, because I don't have to pay any attention to you. Especially whenever I didn't do a no wrong.
Bitchy people must be a Pennsylvania thing because it is not like that out here with DCS. You'll never hear them say, I'm just trying to do my job.
But if you call like a customer service line or something, like I know Best Buy was one because my stepson ordered something and I had to call and complain and I got some southern lady. But it's like you can clearly tell what part of the country these people are from, not just by their accent, but how nice they are. It's like if you
Well,
have some rude
well,
bitch,
like I'll call. Like there's been times that I've called like my bank or somewhere, and it'll be like, "Hello, my name is Juan. How may I help you?" And I'm like, "There is no way he's in the U.S."
oh god,
And
yeah.
then they only know some English, and I was like, "Nope," and I'll hang up. Yeah.
I feel so bad sometimes because you'll get somebody that doesn't speak English or you can't understand them. And I'm like, I need someone that I can understand. And they're like getting all offended and stuff. And it's just like, no offense to you. I understand you're just trying to do your job, but I
Yeah.
cannot understand a word you are saying.
Yeah, because they'll just repeat what I say to them, and I'll be like, "Yes, I just told you that."
Or you'll have someone that has like an American name, but clearly they're not.
Yeah.
And it's just like, who are you trying to fool? I know you're like in India right now.
That's like if you go to Macy's, all the perfume ladies have an accent, and I'm like, "Do you really have this accent?"
Like they're from New York or something.
Or no, that like they're from India or somewhere.
And they're white.
Yeah.
Well, what's really crazy, the first time we went to Virginia Beach, we were down there. We stopped somewhere to get breakfast before we came home. And the lady's like, "Where are y'all from?" And I was like, "Pennsylvania." And she's like, "Oh, I can tell your accent." And I was like, "I have an accent?" I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
"What?" I must not realize that, like, whenever you're somewhere else and you're talking to people because you're used to the way you talk.
Yeah, because when I lived in Germany and Korea, the south part, not the north.
Oh my god.
People instantly knew that I was from Pennsylvania, and I was like, "What?" And they're like, you say your words a slight specific way, and only Pennsylvanians do that."
Oh my goodness.
And
Like
I
what?
was like, "Oh,
Crick.
oh yeah," because Chad and the boys and the family out here, they always make fun of how I say stuff, and I'm like, "Whatever." And then Chad's from Yuma, and then I'm always like, "Well, at least I'm not from Yuma."
Like what words? I don't understand. Like
Like I'll say crick, and
yeah,
then they'll be like, "No, it's creek," and I'm
yeah.
like, "No."
I'm
And
gonna
then
go
he'll,
down by the crick.
yeah, and then Chad's always like, "I can't wait for Wanda's visit. I'm gonna see if she says it just like you." And I'm like, "Oh my god."
I what I don't understand is some people say water. Like they say
Yeah.
water, but they say water or
Hmm.
washer, like the washing machine.
Yeah.
Washer. I'm like, what? You're gonna what? I'm gonna go wash my clothes. I'm like, huh? I'm like, oh my goodness. My mom is originally from Long Island, so like I'm
Oh.
assuming like she would have had, the New York accent,
Yeah.
but she used to always say like some weird things and it's just like, what are you saying? But it's all my mom also put applesauce on pork chops, which apparently is like
Oh, that's amazing.
and a Pennsylvania Dutch thing too, I guess.
Yes. Yes, it
So
is.
I guess it's maybe a tri-state thing, but like if you made pork chops out there and you made Chad eat it with applesauce, he'd probably be looking at you like you were freaking nuts.
I tried doing that here, and he was like, what are you planning to do? And I'm like, what? This is how you cook it. And I tried to get like liver and onions.
Oh, yes.
And he was like, what? And I was like, what? I grew up on this stuff. And nope, I have yet to cook liver and onions.
I'll have to come visit and we'll have to do that. I have not had it in for like ever.
Yeah, and I found a butcher shop here in Scottsdale. And they have it.
Wow.
But yeah, no one in this house is gonna. I tried cooking Scottish food for them, and they weren't having it.
What would that consist of?
It's more like it was like a grounded up hamburger and mashed potatoes, like shepherd's pie.
Or like roadkill.
Yeah, like cockaliki soup. You know, you have the leeks and chicken in there. And they say it's too bland, and I was like, well, the food that we grew up on really wasn't spicy.
Right? Sorry that you're all from out here where you have to have a lot of spice in your food. But I like to add like spices and stuff in my food. Like I'm big on like garlic.
Yeah.
I like hot sauce. So for it to be like, oh well, your food's just bland. I'm like, sorry, I do like a little spice in my food too there, Chad.
He just doesn't understand, because I remember going to the butcher with my mom, and she'd be getting like 2 weeks worth of meat. She'd get deals on meat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a whole thing back then.
Do they have like butcher shops over there like they do here?
Not really. It depends, because like this is a big city, you know, and like it depends on where you're at in the city.
He needs to come here and visit and just like actually have like understanding of what's going on in the world other than in Utah. Yeah, we were out at the East Freedom Walmart and we drove past Leete's and I was like, Clay, he needs some gobs. I need to send him some gobs. But they were so busy, and it's just like, I am not going in there just for those. I'm sorry. Maybe some other time.
What?
Oh, but then I was in Weiss, and they had mini ones, and I was like, yeah, they're not even worth sending. You gotta get the big ones. You should just make them. They're not that hard to make.
Yeah, I might. Because, you know, my dad worked at the donut shop, so when I would go to work with him, I'd be able to eat as many donuts as I wanted.
Oh, my goodness.
It was amazing. Oh, but I think that'll be our podcast for this time.
All right. So hey, you never did say what that lady's name was.
What lady?
That comedian.
Leanne Morgan. I already got my tickets.
Oh, your tickets. One's mine, right?
If you come out here, because like the shows are selling out.
Oh my gosh. I looked, I think, yeah, because I seen you post it. I just wanted to make sure that's the one. But like the closest one is like Ohio. But then there was one in Albany or something. I just didn't know which one was closer. But I'm like,
well, she had a lot of Phoenix people request her because she's doing 4 nights here.
wow.
But I think she's also coming here for 4 nights because it's warm.
Yeah, a little mini vacation.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. I'll have to see if it's a possibility. But I can imagine because Dean's on vacation this week, so he probably couldn't get off for then. It would just be me, and I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see.
Yeah, check it out, because go to her website, because it redirects you to the tickets and all that. And apparently at the club that we want, if we want to be treated like VIP, I could call the club and get it upgraded.
Oh, goodness.
And I might do that for us and make it like a huge date night. Impress Chad.
He doesn't need to go. I'll take his ticket.
Oh, I took him to the Nutcracker years ago, and he was so, like, it was so fancy. And It was right before Christmas, and he was so bored out of his mind. And I'm like, what the hell?
Oh my goodness.
Like, I try with this family, but they got no taste in the arts.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's just that they have different tastes than what you do.
Yeah, because I try to drag them, to plays and stuff, and they won't go.
So yeah, I went to a few here, but I think I'm about the only one in my family that would.
Well, we went and saw Roseanne a few years ago in Colorado,
That would be fun.
and she was hilarious.
Yeah. And now she's probably not even doing it anymore because people are so butthurt over everything.
Yeah, they've shunned her from all of it. All right, I'll let you go.
See.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Our Crazy Lives with Clay and Wanda, brought to you by Anchor.fm. You can visit our website at ourcrazylivesofclayandwanda.com. You can head over to our YouTube channel, search for Our Crazy Lives with Clay and Wanda. Our Instagram, you can find us at Crazy Lives of Clay and Wanda. And our Twitter is at Crazy Lives of CW. And our theme music song is See Me Through.